It's 5 to 6 on a sleepy Saturday morning here in Riga, but today we're not exploring Riga, we're going to be exploring a top secret Soviet bunker in a town that I'm probably going to mispronounce many times called Ligatne. But to get there we need to get an early morning train from the station, and the sun's not even up yet, so we'll get there nice and early, and then we'll have a little explore of this town, and then we'll take a look at the bunker and see what we can find. It's not a place I know a lot about, or knew a lot about until this morning. I did a little more research and I'd never even heard of the place till earlier this week. So it's going to be a bit new for both of us. I've never been to Latvia. I've been to some of the other Eastern European countries, and I've only ever been to the former Soviet Union once when I went to Ukraine many years ago, but you can't really do that anymore. So, well, you can get Ukraine, but it's not as easy as it once was, right? So we'll get ourselves to the station, we'll get ourselves on our train, and then we'll maybe see a little bit of the countryside from the train window, which will be nice, I think. So we're getting the 6:46 to Valmiera. Well, to where are we going again? Ligatne. We're getting the 6:46 to Ligatne, but it ends at Valmiera. At the minute I'm just in a sort of dead looking train station, but it is only just say 6 o'clock, and we're at track 11, so we need to find out we're at track 11. Ominous. I think it was downstairs and along, and we'll try and find it. If I look tired, it's because I haven't slept really. I got to Riga really late last night and I just couldn't sleep, so too excited for the top secret Soviet bunker, you see. The one to Ligatne. Yeah. Thank you. Well, the train's about 20 minutes early, so that's new. You wouldn't get that in England because normally the trains are always late, so that's pretty nice. But I think it's going to be quite a quiet trip, because there's only a couple of people on this train, but it is pretty early and maybe not many people go this way, I'm guessing. So the only thing I know that's along this route is the bunker, but there might be buses or something you can take instead, and I've just took a train, and the time of booking for my my tour is 12 o'clock, and this is the only train I can get is a super early one, because there's a train that leaves at about 8, which would be a more normal time, and that gets there at about 12ish, 5:12, but then it's a bit of a distance to the bunker. So I don't want to be going too late and then miss my slot, so early train for me. Thank you.
Nākamā vieta. Uzmanību, durvis aizver.
So we're in Ligatne, I think that's how you say it. You'll have heard on the tannoy on the train, it sounds very Scandinavian. So, this trip might not have been the best planned, because I need to go to that town, and the bunker's not really in that town, it's a little bit further afield, but this is the closest train station. But the train station for this town doesn't really seem to be in this town. It's quite a hike, and I've seen no buses or public transport that will get me to where I need to go at this time in the morning. So, check the good old Google Maps, and we got so basically a 2.5 hour walk to the bunker, but I think we'll hit the town obviously before we get there, so maybe there'll be something open by that time, because we need to kill a bit of time anyway. It's like 8 o'clock, and I checked the local like cafes and restaurants, and the earliest thing opens at 9 o'clock, but most things is about 10, but our tour doesn't start till 12, so we're in no rush really. We can just sort of have a little gallivant. Isn't that a good word? A little gallivant around a small Latvian town or village. I don't know which one it is, but that's quite a nice little place so far. This will be my view for a little bit, this road. So a little bit of history on the bunker that we're going to see. So this bunker was conceived in the late 60s. Of course, back in those days, there was a real threat and consideration of nuclear war, both from the NATO side and the Soviet side. So the Soviets decided, or rather the Latvian Soviet Socialist Republic at the time, decided that they needed to have a bunker in the case that either NATO strikes or the Soviet strikes. I'll get into that more in a minute. They needed somewhere to be able to control the country from, somewhere to put the elites of the country, because of course the peasants can just die in a nuclear holocaust, but the elites, they need somewhere to stay. And it had provisions for around 3 months. Now personally I don't think that's enough time really to let the nuclear fallout settle if it all goes, you know. But it was built under the guise of a sanatorium, and there is an actual sanatorium, apparently it's still functioning today, we'll find out when we get there. But it was built under the guise of that. There's even a swimming pool that sort of doubles as a helipad, and it's built 9 meters underground with 5 meters thick of concrete and lead sheets to of course protect from the possible nuclear strikes. Now I don't know if that would be enough to help from a direct strike, but I guess the idea is they've built it literally in the middle of nowhere. It's nowhere near the capital, it's about 75 kilometers out. It took about an hour on the train to get here, and I suppose back in those days the trains will have been about the same speed, or maybe if you were elite you'd take your Jaguli, your lovely Jaguli down to the bunker, or if you were super elite maybe you take a helicopter. But like I was saying before, getting back to a big radio tower. But getting back to the whether or not NATO or the Soviets would strike first and why this bunker was built, it would make sense. I think I need to go through this tunnel. Maybe? Now of course no one really wants to think that they'd strike first in a nuclear war. However, where this bunker has been situated, around 75 kilometres away from where the elites would be living, the people that were meant to occupy this, 75 kilometres away. And of course, even in, let's say, the 60s, 70s, 80s, this is the time of intercontinental ballistic missiles. It wasn't bombers flying over the border, it was just rockets getting shot into space. And you only had about, 10, 20 minutes to respond, if that's when you detected them, before they'd of course detonate. So there's no way any elite would be able to get from Riga, which is where they'll be staying, to this bunker in the middle of nowhere in time. So, deduce from that what you will, but it kind of makes sense that this was built for the purpose of, if the Soviets were going to strike first, they could get their guys into the bunkers and then fire the nukes. Hello, kitty. Oh, parkour. I do like these villages in Latvia. I mean, this is my first one, but I'll say it reminds me a lot of Poland. I'm getting a lot of Polish vibes, but then Latvians might say that Poland gives Latvian vibes. I don't know, but that's the first one I'd been to. I'd been to Poland first, so there's something quite charming about these quiet villages. And one day, maybe, if I'm lucky enough, if the channel gets big enough and I make enough money, I too might have myself a nice cottage in the countryside, probably in Poland. That would be the dream. But Latvia's not shaping too bad either. Maybe I'll come to Latvia. Fun Latvian fact for you. Maybe it'll help you out in a future pub quiz. You never know. Random facts. Tallest woman in the world in Latvia. There you go. So if you guys want something to climb, want a challenge, maybe it's not for the short kings, but you know, if you fancy a tall woman, this is the place to come. So the bunker consists of around 90 rooms, I think 2,000 square feet or meters, I can't remember, we'll find out when we get there. But it's quite large, it's a relatively large complex. Like I say, it was meant to hold quite a large number of people for around 3 months with all your provisions. It's got its own water supply, air purification, air filters, food stores. But they did make a mistake. The one thing they are missing was somewhere to put the dead bodies. If you want to be there for 3 months, there's a good chance if you've got enough people, someone's going to pop the clogs, especially with the stress of a nuclear holocaust going off. But they forgot to have somewhere to put the dead bodies, so I guess you just use the freezer. I think that's what they do in nuclear submarines. In the submarine, if someone dies, I think they just bag them up and put them in the freezer. But don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure. Not sure at all on that one. But this a lovely little park. That might be someone's garden, I don't know. But everything's so well kept. A lovely Latvian flag flying there. I'll say this, mind, one thing I've definitely noticed just when I was in Riga, just on the evening and this morning. Remarkably clean. Streets are spotless, no rubbish, no chewing gum on the floor, and also no homeless people, which is something you'll find a lot of in England. Doesn't matter the city you're in. If you go around a city early hours in the morning like I was, like 5 to 6, half 5 in the morning, there'll be homeless people all over the place. And of course, England's notoriously filthy, there's just litter all over the place. But you don't seem to find that in Eastern Europe. I know the Poles don't like to be referred to as Eastern Europe, but you're Eastern Bloc, so in a Westerner's mind it's Eastern Europe still. But Poland, spotless, very clean, very safe, and I'm getting the exact same vibes from Latvia. Like, lovely place, very clean. And the countryside's very picturesque. I mean, it has been raining all night, and thankfully it's not raining now. I don't want to get caught in that again, like I did yesterday. But it's so green and lush, and very straight trees. I think it's very easy to build a log cabin in Latvia because every tree that I've passed, apart from the ones here I guess right next to me, but you can see over there, I think those are some birch trees. But when I was just passing on the train, passing through the countryside, there was, I don't know if they were birch because they weren't white, but I'm not a tree expert, but just tons of like relatively thick enough for a log cabin, but like perfectly like straight as a die trees. So I guess it's very easy to build a log cabin here, but maybe you're not allowed to chop the trees down, I don't know. Well, it's raining quite heavily, as you can see. Perhaps walking 2.5 hours in the Latvian countryside in autumn wasn't my brightest idea. Yeah, not the wisest thing. Also the dogs. I keep hearing and seeing a lot of German shepherds. Luckily, so far they've all been behind fences, but if one of them doesn't like the look of us, they could easily jump that fence, I think, so we'll have to be careful. Hopefully the rain doesn't get any worse, otherwise I'm going to be like a drowned rat by the time I get to Ligatne. Never mind the bunker, because that's another hour walk after Ligatne. Maybe we'll get some breakfast there and drive for a little bit, I don't know. But yes, that's my update. Well, don't they look delicious? Some nice moo-moos. The rain's settled down a little bit now. A little bit, but it's still raining. We've still got a good 2 or 3 miles to go, I think. I'm not quite sure now. We'll get there. We can't really get any wetter, so my underwear's soaking through. And the chafing has begun, but that's okay. It's all part of the adventure. And at least it's pretty. At least it's a pretty walk. It would be pretty bad if it was a horrible walk. But at least it's quite a beautiful part of the world. In retrospect, I probably should have hitchhiked, but I've never done that before. I didn't actually think about it. I don't know if people are too well receiving of it in this part of the world. Probably not. You don't want to pick up some weirdo with a camera, I guess. This is the bus stop that I was referring to earlier, this type. It's just a curb, a bench, and a sign that says Zanduri. Zanduri? I guess we've learnt the word for bus in Latvian, but I have seen no buses pass me this entire time. So that means, oh god, it's starting to rain heavy again. Oh Jesus, look at that. Oh well, we must plod on. But I've seen no bus pass me, so I'd be just as wet anyway. Oh my god. Oh Jesus. Oh my god. This is quite bad. Oh Jesus. Oh, now I'm very wet. Jesus Christ. Oh, I thought I was already as wet as I could be. Nope, I'm wetter now. Oh my goodness, that's just come at the side as well from the wind. Oh, I'm so wet and so cold now. That's just went straight through my shoes, that. Charming. Bloody hell. Woohoo! Whose idea was this, eh? Whose idea was this to walk across the Latvian countryside in hunts for a nuclear bunker, eh? Oh my goodness. Next time, waterproof socks and waterproof pants. Good job this camera is waterproof. At least I hope it is. We'll soon find out if it's not. My feet are squelching now. With every step I can feel a squelch. I expected a bit of a drizzle maybe. Didn't expect torrential rain like this, but I guess that's why Latvia is so green. My bum's wet and cold. But that's why Latvia is so green, I guess, because they've got no shortage of water. I wish I hitchhiked now. Maybe no one would have picked us up, I don't know, but it would have been worth a try, I guess. A few more miles to go. Well, we've made it. Līgatne. There's nothing here, so that's good. I really don't know what I'm going to do because I'm like extremely wet to the point where I don't even know if a restaurant would or a cafe would want us to go inside and sit down, because there's just going to be a puddle left when I get up. I think I'm going to have to go to the toilet, find some toilets and take my shoes, socks, pants off and just sort of wring them out into the sink, I think. I'll still be damp, but maybe not absolutely waterlogged like I am now. It's not particularly warm either, so I say particularly warm. It's not cold, but it's not warm. I suppose like 10 degrees, 8 degrees. So I'm not going to drive very quickly, although the wind will help. But the rain certainly won't. And at the minute there's no way to be in the rain. Sorry, at the minute there's no way to be in the wind without being in the rain. Lovely. Chocolate River. Now hopefully after this bend on the left I should actually start seeing something that resembles civilization. Because so far I have seen zilch. Nada. Ugats. I've seen nothing. Yes. And then we'll try and figure out a way to dry off and maybe get something to eat and something hot to drink, because I'm getting a little chilly now from being so wet. Being so wet and with the wind as well, it's getting a little chilly. So I think we'll try and fuel up for the next leg of the adventure, because this is only about 2/3 of the walk. There's another third left, but maybe once we get into the town, maybe we can get a taxi, or maybe we can get something else, because it's a little later in the day now. Maybe there's some buses. When I got off the train there was nothing. There was no Bolts, there was no Ubers, there was no bus. But now, from the actual town, there might be something. I have no idea how we're going to get back in the afternoon, because my train leaves at 6 o'clock from there. No idea how we'll do that. Hopefully I don't have to walk this back, but maybe I'll have to. I don't know. There should really be a connection between the train station, the main station, and the town. I just don't know why the station's so far away from the town. Who designed that? Crazy. Oh well, let's keep on going. Like I say, at least it's pretty. But oh, a potato. I assume it's fallen off a poor van. And now that potato is mush. Oh, another potato. And another potato. Whoa! Follow the trail. Maybe potato density increases the closer you get to civilization, I don't know. We'll follow the potatoes. I have no idea how well the audio will be holding up from this camera because it's so wet, but it looks like we finally hit the big streets, the big lights of Ligatne. We've hit it big, we've hit civilization. I'm seeing buildings, I'm seeing signs, I'm seeing bus stops. I think I even see a bus. But definitely didn't pass me. The rain, I think, has stopped. It's quiet, it's peaceful, it's tranquil. It's idyllic. Do I want to move to Latvia? Maybe not. If this is what the weather's like every day, if the weather is like this every day, and it rains because I've only been here, this is my second day, and it's rained like that for 2 days straight. I thought yesterday might have just got out of the system. But if it rains like this every day, I don't think I'm moving to Latvia. The idea of getting a nice, tall, beautiful Latvian wife, a nice cottage in the village, that doesn't outweigh the rain, unfortunately. If I wanted rain, I'd stay in England. But even Poland doesn't have this much rain. I think Poland's a bit more my tempo, a bit more my style. But we do have a lovely lake. I mean, it's lovely when the rain stopped. And there's even a swan. Oh. And since I'm not in England, I guess I can eat it, right? The king doesn't own this one. Right. I guess now we try and find somewhere to eat. Oh, what have we got here? Some nature trails and guest houses. I did almost consider staying here for the night. And now, considering how wet I am, I probably should have, really. But then again, would I want to have carried my backpack all that way with my laptop, because it's like splash proof, not a super waterproof backpack, and probably would have just got damaged. So we'll power on through the town. Oh, I see smoke. Maybe someone's grilling up some shashlik or something along those lines, and we can have something to eat. Need to find somewhere that's open though, because I can't see anything open at the minute. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I walk a lot, I don't get particularly hungry when I walk. So at the minute, I'm not very hungry. But I could do with a drink. And I think we might just hold off on the food till we get to the bunker. And then I'll eat something tonight in the centre of Riga, I suppose. Hello! Friendly people! Friendly people here in Latvia. It's my first wave. Most people are very straight-faced, as they usually are in Eastern Europe. But today, I had a smile. Now, the question is anywhere open? Convenience store, yes. Restaurant, no. So, what is it? It's Sunday, it opens at 10 o'clock. So we're a little early. Well, convenience store. I don't quite need a convenience store yet. I guess we just walk around a little more. see what's happening. Oh, there's a cafe up there. I don't know if you can see that. It's got lights on. I don't know if it's open. I guess I might have to backtrack for that. These look like some traditional houses. We're seeing it all here in the countryside. We're seeing it all. I don't think they had satellite dishes back in the day though. Interesting. Is this actually the town? I thought it was a little bit bigger than this, if I'm honest. Is this actually it? Oh my goodness. I thought that there was going to be like a bit of a street with a few restaurants and shops, but nope. I think that is the restaurant and shop. Decisions. Oh, there's a plaque. Should we read the plaque? Some building here. Let's get a little bit of history of this town, eh? Ligatne breweries, Bauhaus, and Pivo Palace. I don't know. I don't speak Russian, but small household buildings in Ligatne were called in Latvian breweries, although they served a completely different purpose. They were located between two homes and consisted of two parts. Two wash boilers were built at one end of the brewery, even for the and oven for the bread at the other. The wives of the workers went there to bake their bread each at their own time. Their breweries were also used for drying meat. For meat drying, oh, that's good. Maybe I can go and dry my clothes. Should we investigate? Maybe I can dry my clothes. If only, but I see no smoke. I see no fire, but I see squelchy floors. Oh, very cool. It's all locked up though, unfortunately. We can't go inside. I don't trust that bridge either, so I think we'll backtrack. The day has brightened up. I am caffeinated, I am slightly warm, although quite cold, and I am a little bit drier as I wringed my shoes and socks out in the toilet sink. Very classy. Met a lovely chap in there, Edward, in a little cafe that was open. I had a cup of coffee. Didn't end up videoing any of the conversation. I was more concerned about getting dry, but I should have thought about the content, but I didn't. But it's starting to brighten up to be quite a nice little day. As we cross the precarious, bloody hell, the precarious bridge over the Chocolate River. It's quite slippy as well. We continue onwards to the bunker. There is no bus to the bunker. I understand now why, when I saw online there was some tours to the bunker that would pick you up from Riga and take you all the way there on a bus. But they cost like €70. And where's the adventure in that? If a bus comes and picks you up and drops you straight off at the bunker, there's no adventure. So I would rather take the train, €2.50. We then walk 2.5 hours. We get drenched. We meet lovely Edward in the cafe. We have a good chit chat, put the world to rights. And now we have another hour's long walk to the bunker. Oh, and I finally see a bit of blue sky. So if that keeps up, we're in for a good day. Although I am still very, very wet and a little bit cold. But that's okay. That's okay. It's better than okay, it's great. Positive attitude. It's all in your head. Everything's in your head. Stay positive. We'll take the bridge. Bridge to nowhere. It's a fairly fast moving water. Bridge is a little slippy with these shoes. Oh, the sun's coming out. I feel a little bit of warmth. Tell you what what, this is such a nice little village though, or town, I don't know what you'd call it, but it's very picturesque. Nice little houses there. Someone's got like a fire pit maybe. It'd be lovely to have a barbecue here. Oh, some big wall. I don't know what the wall's from. Lovely area. I guess this is just people's gardens, but you don't really need to like wall things off because I guess it's just everyone's quite local. Oh, maybe not. There's a sign here. Maybe it's tourist attractions. Nature Watcher's Garden. Huh. Isn't this lovely? Some flowers. Some seats. I bet, you know, I bet in the summer this is absolutely gorgeous. Just unfortunately, it's autumn. I've seen boats in a lot of people's front gardens along the way here, so I guess it's a coastal country. But I feel like I'm quite inland at the minute. But I suppose it's such a small country, you're never that far away from the coast, so you can always just drive to the coast with your boat. Or maybe it's for the lakes. There's a lot of lakes here. Maybe people are just boating on the lake. Could be. Oh, that sun's coming out. That's marvellous. That's just what I need. A bit more of that. Try and miss the puddles. I like the architecture here, mind, in Latvia. It's quite nice. Quite nice indeed. That sort of like wooden slat side design. And of course some of the actual houses are just straight up wood. That one looks quite modern. See a lot of Latvian flags around as well, so I'm guessing quite a patriotic place, which I personally quite like. I think it's good to be happy about the country that you come from. And I thought there was somebody on the slide there. It is a scarecrow with a gas mask. People really seem to take care of their lawns here, mind, I must say. Oh yes, when I was talking to Edward in the calf, I asked him a question. Sort of, how do people like Latvia to be referred to as? Because I know from a Westerner's standpoint, from an Englishman's, basically anything east of Germany is Eastern Europe, right? Like Germany's like Central Europe, Poland we class as Eastern Europe, but Poles hate being called Eastern European or Poland being called Eastern Europe. They'd say, no, we're Central European, it's Central Europe. Which from a geography point of view is, I guess, correct. Because Europe technically extends all the way to like Western Kazakhstan, if you're going by the tectonic plates. But culturally, you know, if we're talking Cold War, it's Eastern Bloc anyway, that's for sure. So I was asking him, I was saying, would people be offended if I was to say, oh, like Latvia's Eastern Europe? Because I've been referring to it as Eastern Europe. I mean, nothing by it, it's just, it's east of me. And he said, well, in a sense, not really. Because, you know, we used to be part of Russia, but part of the Soviet Union, that sort of thing. But he said a lot of them now consider themselves more Northern Europe. And I can see that. I'm getting quite a few Scandinavian vibes. The language sounds Scandinavian, it does not sound Slavic to me. And he was telling me that there's only really two languages related. So there was Prussian, which is sort of like beforehand, and Lithuanian. So there's Lithuanian, Latvian, and they're related, but not really related to Polish or to their friends to the east, Estonian or Russian, because Estonian's more linked to Finnish. But he was saying, yeah, Latvian's closest thing is Lithuanian. That's really it, and that's not a lot of speakers really. So it's quite a unique language. He says it's quite a beautiful language. I have to agree. I think it just sounds quite Scandinavian, quite a jolly language. Whereas some of the Slavic languages sound a little rougher. This one sounds a little more like happy. So that's good. So if the weather keeps up like this, it looks relatively light the skies now. I think we'll have a pleasant walk to the bunker. We'll have about, I think, 45 minutes walk left. And in this weather, that's fine. No idea how I'm going to get back. Might have to just walk the 2.5 hours again back. Oh well. But maybe when the tour ends, if the tour's going to be ending and there's a lot of people there, it'd be funny if I get there and it's just me. But I doubt it. I think there'll be other people there. If there's people there and they're leaving, I might see if I can bum a lift off somebody. If I can maybe get a lift to the train station or just back into town or just in that direction so I don't have to walk all of this again, especially if it's raining. Plus, it'll start to be getting dark, I assume. By the time I get my train anyway, it'll be getting dark, I think. But hopefully I should be back at the train well before it's due. But we'll see. We'll see. We are finally leaving Ligatne. Bye bye Ligatne. It's been fun, it's been wet, it's been wonderful. Very fun indeed. It's been very fun indeed. So, I'm just walking down the countryside in Latvia, and there's like the odd car passing every now and then, because I'm on the way to the bunker, and then all of a sudden, like literally like 20-30 cars just passes. So I don't know if there's like a car meet, because they're all just parked up in front of me now. So I don't know if there's like a car meet going on or what, but maybe we can ask and find out. So what's with all the cars?
A tree fell down the
Ah, right.
road. The guys cut it up and moved it out of the way.
Perfect. I thought it was like a car meet or something with all the cars.
This is Līgatne Latvia, like car meet. We're going places.
Oh, you are going to the car
Yeah,
meet.
yeah.
Alright, cool. Awesome.
That's why all the Audis.
Alright, cool man. Cheers, take it easy. So there we go guys, tree fell, that's why there's the cars. And a Audi car meet. I let them get past me. Try not to get splattered. But no Audi car meets for us today, just the bunker. So we'll be on our way. With the smell of petrol in the air. There's a bolt. There was no taxis when I was there this morning. Maybe I can get myself a taxi back. Probably cost us about 20 quid, but if it saves the legs. And if it's mainly if it's raining again. If it's not, then I'll probably just walk it. It's been quite pleasant. Or like I say, maybe I'll get a lift off somebody if I can. So here we can see the fallen tree that's been chopped up. I still don't know why they were all backed up. Maybe, I guess that was the car meet, and then they all stopped because of the tree. But we have about 20 minutes, just less than 20 minutes walk to the bunker. That probably looks so weird. I guess you don't normally find someone vlogging in the Latvian countryside. Some mad lad walking with a camera in his hand. It's still spitting. It hasn't completely stopped raining, but it's not too bad. Should we get a close up of the damage? So that's been put over there. I can see they've dragged the tree over, chopped a bit, dragged it over. Some good logs there. That's pine cones. They'd be nice to burn when they dry out. Not too far now. We're almost there. We're in the little town, village ship thing, I guess you could call it. Some buildings here rather, some communist looking buildings here. And I think that at the bottom is our bunker. So we're getting there just in time. Although I unfortunately believe I won't be allowed to film in there. Or not film totally, might be able to sneak some clips, but there's definitely some rooms that you're not even allowed to take pictures in still, so not sure why. We'll soon see though. Oh, there's a path here now actually, should walk the path. It's going to be a sanatorium, and apparently it's still in use as a sanatorium. The bunker itself only became known to the public in 2003, so it had been hidden for quite some time. I don't know if that's something to do with the intake of Latvia into the EU, because I think, did they join 2004? Might be 2004, I might be getting my numbers wrong here, but it might have been something to do with that, or like you say, if they're joining the EU, they've joined NATO, they don't really have a use for that nuclear bunker. The threat of imminent nuclear war sort of doesn't exist in the same way that it did. That orange van, I know that orange van because it passed me on the way here. Should have hitchhiked. Guess that might be one of the buses then, but yeah, the buses at the centre, unfortunately none of them were running at the time that I needed, so I even had the Latvian guy check for me. Well, I didn't ask him to, but he did for me anyway. And he said, no, you're out of luck. Looks like you're gonna be walking, and so I did. Looks quite busy though. But maybe when a tour ends there's a bus going back, so maybe I can get a bus. Or like I say, I can just grab a lift off somebody, but I wouldn't hold my breath. And the rain started again, lovely. Oh my goodness. I don't think a lot's changed here since the collapse of the Soviet Union. I'm pretty sure all these lampposts and these floor tiles are all the same. Not much has changed. Apart from, I guess things looked a little bit better back then when it was fresh. But it's definitely a relic of its time. I mean, that architecture just screams like Soviet or brutalist. It's horrible in my opinion. Some people like it. I have some friends that really enjoy brutalist architecture. I'm not in that camp. I don't like it at all. I think the Stalinist architecture looked better than this sort of era, like the 70s, 80s of Soviet Union. Although not even just the Soviet Union, even in England, a lot of the buildings built in the 70s are just absolutely grotesque. Well, I know I get some dumplings at the end of the tour, or midway through the tour, and I've definitely earned them after walking all those miles.
May I ask from which country are you?
England. Ready for a communist party? Look at those eyebrows.
Los mapas nuestros del PASI estaban todos en ruso. Los de...
¿Qué era? old Soviet computers.
Спасибо.
It's dumpling time. There you go.
Спасибо.
This means it doesn't work.
That's cool. In that car were a lovely bunch of Spaniards who gave me a lift back from the bunker because I did not want to walk that 11 kilometres back because the rain's starting and stopping. I'm pretty cold, I'm pretty wet. I'm back at the train station a few hours earlier actually, a couple hours earlier than I need to be. But maybe we can hop on an earlier train since it's so cheap. So I'll check the trains. Unfortunately I think I left the seat in that car a little bit wet. Not because I wet myself, but because I'm still rather soaking. Why this is Ligatne station here, it's really nowhere near the town, but no, the next one isn't until 6:30, so we've got 4 hours to kill. What to do in 4 hours here when it's cold and wet and it's windy? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what that door says. Okay, so we're back in Riga now after the adventure to the nuclear bunker. So let's talk about that a little bit, because after that adventure, as I came back, I didn't really want to video anymore, do a monologue about the episode because the weather was terrible. So it's another day now, but I'll give us a fill-in on what happened because I wasn't able to really talk whilst I was in the bunker. The reason for that is a lot of it is still quite secret. You're allowed to take the odd picture here and there, but you can't really video. So I got some videos in there, and yeah, it was a bit of a funny ordeal. Just to show you as well actually how bad the weather's been here. I'm guessing that's not normal in the parks in Riga. And if we go a little further along here, there's benches under this water. So I'm guessing the water's not usually this high up. But it has not stopped raining the entire time I'm here. This is the 1 minute it seems to not be raining, but it's still damp on the floor and it's still spitting. So, areas that you weren't allowed to film. There was a few rooms where you were like really not allowed to get any footage, but your boy did anyway, because why not? That's what we do. So, there was the main engine room, so to speak, of the bunker. Now, the main engine room was powered by an old Soviet submarine engine. And I assume the reason you're not allowed to film there is because the plans for that engine, you know, those engines might still be in use, right? So maybe it's a old Chinese submarine that they've got off the Russians, or that sort of engine technology might still be somewhat relevant because those types of machines are in operation for a very long time, even though it's an engine from the 70s or 80s. It was definitely not a lot of film in there, but we got a little bit of footage. So hopefully I don't get in trouble with the Russian Ministry of Defense. I don't think the Latvians will care because they don't really seem to care too much about the bunker. It's all open, free for the public now. Furthermore, there was a map room. Now that was really interesting. Maybe I'll overlay some footage, I don't know how I'll do this later in the edit. But yes, there was a map room, and that was very interesting because that showed basically the tactics that the Soviets were going to use in the case of if they were invaded or if nukes were dropped on them. That's how they were going to deal with the situation. They were going to extract people from different areas. There was all sorts of tactic maps, and of course this might still be relevant Soviet doctrine that the Russians are using today. So I guess that's why that room was definitely no pictures, but we got some anyway, so you can see it. I really wanted to come to this bunker because I saw there's a few clips on YouTube where people had gone and taken little snapshots and a few pictures, but no one had took as much footage as I have. Maybe the reason I haven't seen it, but when I searched for it on YouTube, there wasn't really a lot of information, so I thought I'll come here myself. I'll walk the 11 kilometers in the rain, because who else will do that? Funnily enough, a few people on the tour, when I got there to the bunker, were like, "Were you the guy that was walking all that way?" Because it's basically just up a bank for like 11 kilometers. And I went, "Yeah, that's a dedication to the channel right there. That is dedication to the footage, to the Soviet bunker." Would I recommend the bunker? I definitely would. It was really, really good. Fantastic experience because it's just left exactly how it is. So you go to the radio rooms, the telecommunication rooms, you go to the canteen. It's exactly how it was back in the 80s. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is the paint's starting to flake off. But they haven't touched anything up, it's just been left. So apparently one day the guy came along that was running the bunker and just handed the keys over to the leader of the local municipality or township or whatever they call them over here, and the guy running it didn't have a clue. He said, wait, what? There's a bunker here? So he just handed him the keys for the bunker, and it's just basically been the same ever since. I have no idea where this path leads. I seem to always be going uphill. One last cool and interesting and unique fact about the bunker before we finish this video and I go inside for a nice hot drink, maybe alcoholic, I don't know, is that it didn't fall victim to the looting and the bandit culture that followed directly after the collapse of the Soviet Union. So a lot of places, even military installations, hello bear man, even military installations fell victim to chronic looting. Everything of value was taken from the places, but this one wasn't, because all of the buildings that were around there, so you'll have seen when I walked to the bunker, I passed some apartment blocks. Everyone that lived in those blocks were only for the bunker. There was an entire almost sort of small economy or ecosystem that revolved solely around the bunker. So everybody there had a good thing, because a lot of their funding was coming from Russia, not from Latvia. It wasn't coming from the Latvian government, it was coming from the central government of Russia. So they sort of didn't have to be beholden to anybody, and their income was coming in regardless. So they had a very, very, very good thing going. They had all of their bills paid for, all of their food for free. They had even had international calls, they had radio, they had access to many luxuries that others wouldn't. So they all protected it and kept the secret stum. And so doing that, that's how it was able to survive, basically untouched, unchanged, until the guy that ran the place handed the keys back over in the early thousands. So that's one reason why it's different to many other Soviet relics, because a lot of them have been looted and destroyed or changed. This thing's essentially untouched. It's exactly how it was, because in the early thousands, when it was handed over, a lot of the craziness of the 90s had passed, and it didn't get, I'm sure some things may have been taken, someone will have had some souvenirs, I'm sure, but nothing crazy. It's pretty much untouched. It's a fantastic place, a fantastic experience. I would recommend it. I'll leave a link in the description for the website regarding the bunker, because you do need to book. You can't just turn up. If you turn up, they'll turn you away. You need to book, because you need to have a tour guide. They do it in multiple languages. I saw a group of girls there, a bunch of Russian girls, and they had a tour in Russian. I'm sure obviously they'll do it in Latvian and English, but maybe others. Now, you can do it through tour groups. I don't have any links, I can't recommend anybody about that, but you can book just directly through them, and then you'll have to make your own way to the bunker like I did. I must say, with Riga, every little street is so charming, apart from the scaffolding, but it's very nice here. So you make your own way there if you wish, or you can do it with a tour group. I can't recommend anybody because I haven't done it, but you can try through the website. I had no luck, they didn't respond to me, but I'll also leave in the description their email address, so you can just email them, and they got back to me literally within like 15 minutes. So I'd highly recommend it. And that's all from me on this Latvian Soviet nuclear bunker adventure. It's all over. I'm sure I'll be back to Latvia. It's been a lovely place. I've had no bother here. It's a super clean, tidy. Everyone's well mannered. It's wonderful. It reminds me so much of Poland, but it's like a common theme across a lot of the former Eastern Bloc. Slovakia. When I've been to Slovakia, when I've been to Poland and here and other places, it's always much better than you'd expect, because of course a lot of the propaganda from beforehand still holds a little bit of weight with people, and people have negative views on these places. But if you have a chance to come to Riga, like I have just for the weekend, you can get yourself a nice cheap Ryanair flight from pretty much anywhere in the UK. I'd recommend coming along. It's fantastic.